Okay, welcome students. Now we are starting or completing our third activity, which is about to add computations, processes, and validations to the form, right? In the part one, we created the forms on the two tables, customers and the movies. Now the third form I'm going to create for the actors. So create page with the same steps, select form, page name, add an actor, the table in which we want the data should be stored is actors. For the navigation, same steps. Make sure navigation preference should be create a new entry. And the parent navigation menu entry means this should be a submenu for actors information. Next, primary key by default is actor ID is selected. That's fine for entity integrity constraint. For branching, I already explained you that for branch on submit, we want that when the user click the submit, it redirects to the page to see the newly added data. So newly added data should be shown on the actor information, right? And cancel, when the user click this cancel, then this activity redirects to the home page. Done. So here you go in the page designer and our new page add an actor is created. Now the next step is to create the sequence on this form. So users, so the Oracle Flex will automatically create the primary key for us. We don't want the users should provide the primary keys for us for the data integrity purpose. So the same way you want to, if you want to make sure that what is the sequence, you can go to the object browser and check it from there. Okay, so I want to create the sequence on actor ID. I select it here. So when I select this attribute on the right-hand pane, the associated features are activated. Scroll down. In the default, here you can see sequence. Which sequence? The same actors underscore sequence. Make sure that the name should be correct. Save it. Click it. Now your add an actor form is ready to go. Now what we are going to do here up till now, this is the same thing which we did in our previous part. So now we are going to add some validations on columns separately, right? So first I want to show you So for example, before we start, it is very much important that we want to disable all default validations for all fields in order to show the newly created validations. So for this, what should I do? I'm going to create a validation on a stage name. So I select it, right? And when I select it, this attribute, again, the features associated to this attribute are activated. And scroll down. Okay, here you find the validation section. We need to disable this, right? So disable this default validation. Then the next step, we'll go to this processing tab, click this. Here you find the validation folder. right click it. When you right click it, it asks you what you want to do actually. We are going to create a validation this time. So when you do this, on the right hand side, some features again activated. So first of all, we need to give the name for this validation. By default, you see the Apex shows new, but new doesn't help us. We want some meaningful name. So give here the name, like we don't want the user should keep this stage name, um, you know, empty. We want the user must provide the value for this. So the name of my validation should be stage name validation. All right. Then in the validation, what you want here, what expression you want, when you click it, then it asks me that what kind of validation. So I want to put this, that this attribute or the column should not be empty, right? User must provide the value for that. Okay, then click it and select. Flix is asking me that to which column or item which I want not to be null. So I will select here the stage name. Then I need to provide some message for the user, right? So right here, like if the user by mistake is not entering the value, obviously the Oracle Flix will generate the error, but just generating the error is not enough. For the users, we need to provide some message that what is the mistake. So I'm writing here, you need to enter a stage name, right? That's it. Save it. Here you, good to go. Now, we want to put one more validation on another column. So you see here now, if we are done, if we go again back to our page designer, here you can see the validation under the stage name is available. Now the second we want to put on the birth date. So select the birth date. First, the same way, we are going to disable all, validations before we put new validations, right? So I make this disable. Then again, go to the processing tab here. Right-click this validating folder. Create validation. Now you see again by default the name of the validation is new by Oracle Flix. So here the meaningful name, since we are creating this validation on the birth date column, so I'm writing here birth date validation. Then what validation, what type of this? We want that this item should not be null. User must provide the value for that. But still, Flex will confirm that which column you want should not be null. So select from here the birth date. Finally, we want to write some meaningful message for the user. So here we enter a birth date. All right, this is the message for the user. If he or she does not provide the value for us, save it, run it. All right, now we are in the form and we put the two validations, not null for stage name and the birth date, right? So deliberately, intentionally, I'm not providing the stage name, right? I'm just putting the names over there. Let's select any, okay, create. You see the same message, the message which we provide over there. You need to enter a stage name. It is displayed for the user. Okay, so I'm applying the value for this. Now let's check for the birth date. Keep the birth date empty. You see the message is displayed, enter a birth date. Maybe we are going for any value. Great. Here you go. We have the newly added data is available here. Okay, but you see the two rows are almost the same. It is because database is accepted because the key is different at the backend and it is generated by Oracle Flex. So this is one thing. Let's do one more exercise for the customers table. Go to your Flex application. Customers form. Now customer form has all these attributes, right? We want the ID and the first name, last name, address, phone, city, state, email. We want to put some constraint on the email that all the users will provide the email in small letters, right? So what we do, we choose it, and from Page Designer, we go to the Processing tab again. Now right click this after. We are going to create what? Create computation, right? Now here it asks me to give the name to my identified name to my computation. So for what item I'm going to create the computation, I'm going to create the computation for the email, right? So select the email from this list. Here you can see, and then scroll down for the execution. Here what you do, it is after submit already. Make sure it should be after submit. Then for the computation part, you can have the type should be the expression, right? Type should be expression. We are not going to write the SQL query, and it should be expression, and the language is PL/SQL. And then it asks me that what expression I want. So as I tell you, I want the user should write the email, whatever the, maybe sometimes the user are writing the combination of small letters and the capital letters, or maybe all the capital letters, but I want that it should be displayed or stored in my database in lowercase, right? So here I'm writing the expression for that, lower Open the brackets. What I will write here, girls, the same item name which is available here. For my application, it is P14, but might be in your application some other number will be displayed, but whatever the number is displayed, the same item name you have to write it here. So P14 underscore email, right? Close the brackets, save it, run it. So this lower function with the value of email field will save only the lowercase values. So let's try, or maybe I'm writing here in the capital letters, right? It is, let's say, Sarah. Okay. All right, I didn't provide the phone numbers. It again. Home phone. Okay. I'm providing some dummy values, and my email I'm writing in capital letters. Here you see, girls. Now it changes into the lowercase, right? So this is a newly created piece of data. You see, I write it in the capital letters, but database stores in the lowercase because of the validation. So that's all for today, and complete all these 3 activities and submit on time, right? So